All right, y'all, welcome to the show. We got a lot to get to today, man. And right off the bat, let me tell you, it's bad, dog. I mean, this is like really, really bad. I was doom scrolling last night until like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. because I could not take my eyes off the carnage. All right, so in just a second, I'm going to explain to you how now we're in a full-blown trade war and how this crash is different and worse than anything we've ever experienced in modern American history. This could make 2008 look like child's play. So I'll walk you through that. Then we're going to get to Trump officials are currently at war with each other, Peter Navarro and Elon Musk in particular. The Supreme Court has now hit the point of no return. I'll break that down for you. They're like semi-bending the knee to fascism, thinking that it's this clever play that'll work out in the long run. It won't. Not even close. We'll talk about Trump now calling for multiple new wars explicitly. Trump wanting a record military budget. Elon rage quitting a live stream because he was brutally trolled. And then later on, a CNBC host shocks the world and actually tells the truth. So we'll get to all that and more. Everybody do me a big favor. You know the drill. Please subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time. And thank you to everybody who supports the show on Patreon. We couldn't do it without you. This is real independent media. Never talked to an advertiser. Never did an ad read. Very, very fucking proud of that. Oh, and one more thing. Kyle and Corin is now on Corin's World YouTube channel. So go subscribe to Corin's World YouTube channel so you can see Kyle and Corin's when they drop. I believe one actually just dropped today. So you don't want to miss that. All right. Let's go ahead and dive into it, y'all. And like I said, buckle the fuck up. I mean, this is like, bruh. Yikes doesn't even begin to describe it. So let me break this down for you. Trump, of course, did a slate of tariffs on the entire world. Now, they said, oh, we're just doing reciprocal tariffs. What they tariff us, we are going to tariff them. That is 100% not true. Because what they actually did is like 4 times more than reciprocal tariffs. Because in their equation where they got their percentage, they included the trade deficit, which just shows they don't know what a trade deficit is. Like, I have a trade deficit with my local Walmart. I buy goods from them, but they don't buy, Patreon subscriptions on Secular Talk, so I have a deficit with them, even though, the exchanges are mutually beneficial. It's, here's some money, here's some goods, right? So everybody wins, but the Trump idiots think, oh no, this is bad because the word deficit is in it. So Trump puts these insane tariffs all over the world, right? And so China sits around and they go, okay, well, I guess we have no choice but to actually put reciprocal tariffs on you. So they did. Then Trump comes out, chest thumping, said, nobody is allowed to retaliate. If you retaliate, I'm gonna go over the top of you again. That's what I'm gonna do. And so then Trump waits a day, and boom, he retaliates. So look at this. This is from Midas Touch here. Donald Trump increases tariffs to 104% on China. This is a massive escalation on trade. So, full-blown trade war, like I said. And understand, 104% on China is like apocalyptic. It is economic Armageddon. It is, your life will never be the same. This country gets so much cheap shit from China, consumer goods from China, right? And we have no way of replacing that or having factories pop up in the U.S. tomorrow that could be anywhere near a competitive price compared to what people are used to paying. So this is, I really don't think people truly understand. It's amazing to me when I watch the reaction to it. Some people seem to understand how bad it is, but like 90+% of people have no clue what's going on and just how bad it's actually going to get. So Trump comes over the top, 104% tariffs on China. Then China goes, okay, bet, we're going to tariff you back again. He's playing a game of chicken with China. But here's the dark reality. China is much better suited for the future than America is. They are the manufacturing hub of the world right now. BRICS is ascendant. Okay, so he doesn't get this. He really thinks the U.S. is the indispensable nation and people can't ever do anything without us. And he thinks that's permanent. He thinks that's forever. But he's bringing about a situation which is going to make people run away from us at 1,000 miles an hour. So right off the bat here, this news alone is just beyond catastrophic. So the market, of course, reacts and implodes yet again. Right now, as I'm talking to you now, Trump took to Truth Social and said, now's a great time to buy. Everything's going to be great. Don't even worry about it. We love everything. And then what happens? The market rebounds because the people on Wall Street are fucking idiots and they think, oh, this is a sign that he's got an ace up his sleeve and he's got a plan and he's going to like back away from the tariffs and, he's got a strategy, a grand master plan. No, he fucking doesn't. He's seeing the line go down and he's panicking and he's like, what can I do? I don't know. I'll just tell people to buy. Right? So this is going to get so much worse. You have no idea. So look at this. We just got this news. The world continues to respond to Trump's trade war. The EU has approved retaliatory tariffs between 10% and 25% on U.S. goods. Trump did not see any of this coming. He didn't seem to think China would retaliate, and we're like sort of frenemies with China, leaning more on the enemy side. The EU is a top ally of ours, but with his relentless bullying, now they're like, hey, sort of fuck you. We'll trade around you. Maybe we'll make more trade deals with Mexico and Canada and China, and the rest of the world will be in harmony, and your ass is going to get iced out. So the EU responds, China responds, absolute disaster. Look at this. Amazon has canceled orders for beach chairs, scooters, air conditioners, and other products made in China and additional Asian countries in response to the tariffs imposed by Donald Trump. So it's literally already happening. Cheap consumer goods will be a thing of the past very soon. Now understand, that was the last thing holding this country together with duct tape and bubble gum, because we've had massive inflation when it comes to housing, when it comes to education, when it comes to healthcare. You have to pay out the ass for those things in America, right? But the one thing holding this country together was at least you can go to Walmart and get some cheap shit, right? Well, now that's going away too. And Trump has no plan, nor does he care about lowering the price of housing, lowering the price of healthcare, lowering higher education. If anything, he's making that stuff worse. He's making it worse. So you ready for this? This is how you know this crash is categorically different from anything we've seen in modern American history, including the 2008 subprime mortgage crisis and Great Recession, including the COVID crash. This is how you know it's different. So this news came in last night. Ready? Look at this chart here. Let me explain this to you. So this guy, Jesse Eisinger, says the following. Okay, what's going on here? Yields are going up, which means bond prices are going down. Fewer buyers of the world's safest asset, the dollar. Normally, when the economy slows, there's a flight to safety, not away from it. Means the world may be abandoning America. We are flirting with a true crisis. No, sir, we are not flirting with a true crisis. We are in the crisis. It has already begun. So understand what they're saying there. Usually, when the stock market tanks, the dollar actually strengthens because it's the world reserve currency. So people feel like, I'll go to the dollar, and the dollar is a safe haven, right? So as the stock market goes down, the dollar strengthens. This time around, ladies and gentlemen, the stock market is tanking, and the dollar is tanking. So now, again, in a normal downturn, the stock market goes down, but people rush to buy U.S. debt, and they rush to get into the U.S. dollar. Now, they're not going to U.S. debt. They're not going to the U.S. dollar. In other words, as I've been warning you, when you piss off the entire world day after day after day, when you are completely unreasonable, completely chaotic, completely unstable, and you're no longer good for your word, that means the dollar as the world reserve currency is not going to be around much longer. Trump operates in this stupid, myopic way where he thinks we get to do whatever we want because we're the indispensable nation and nobody can respond. And the reality is literally the polar fucking opposite. As he's doing all these horrific things, they are retaliating. And now they're looking at each other and going, Chinese century, y'all? They're already making moves. They're making moves right in front of our faces. And these people are too fucking stupid to see it or care, right? Trump's not going to care when the economy goes up in flames. He's not going to care. And we're not going to have any position to maneuver either because the dollar is going to be weaker. Interest rates are going to be higher. U.S. debt is going to be worse off, right? And you're going to have not going to be able to get a lot of consumer goods you were able to get before. The price of things that are here will go up. Small businesses will go out of business endlessly, right? We're getting hit from every which direction. This full-blown trade war is going to lead to a Great Depression, and it's going to rework global trade completely, right? We no longer have a position of strength. We no longer have a position of power. If people turn away from us and say, fuck the US dollar, that's not safe, these people are crazy, this is categorically different from any downturn we've ever had before in modern American history. It will be much more analogous to the 1929 stock market crash and Great Depression than it is to 2008 or to the COVID crash. So I see all these people now on the financial networks going, oh yeah, probably a recession. Bitch, you should be talking about depression. You should be, because here's the other thing, right? Let's say Trump comes to his senses, pulls back, right? Tries to go back to similar relationship we had, pretends to declare victory, and then, we're rolling back the tariffs because we won. We got these deals with all these countries, even if they didn't. He's already proven the United States cannot lead the world. We're too chaotic. We're too unstable. We're not good for our word. We abandon our treaties. We bully our ally nations. We threaten to invade our ally nations. Denmark, Greenland, Panama, you know the whole spiel. Canada. So the damage is already done. The damage is already done. And so never in our lifetimes have we seen this. Have we seen the stock market crashing as interest rates go up, as people flee from the US dollar and US debt. We've never seen that before. And that also puts the Fed, the Federal Reserve, in a position where they don't even know what to do now, right? In the past, they had an idea like, 2008, subprime mortgage crisis, Great Recession. All right, bring interest rates all the way down, right? Well, if you bring interest rates down in this scenario, that's not going to work. You're already looking at inflation when it comes to consumer goods. And if you lower the interest rate, more free money floating around the system, that's going to lead to more inflation. So what do they even do? I don't know. There's no wiggle room. There's no way out. All right, so now we discussed all of that. As I'm talking to you right now, there's this brief moment where the market is green again because Trump is just manipulating the market. Everything's going to be great. Buy, buy, buy. Great time to buy. That's no indication of a deal. That's no indication of like, hey, everything's good. No, he just sees the line going down. He's panicking. He's like, I'll just tell people to buy and hope that works. That's not going to work in the long run, you fucking idiot. You fucking idiot. But here's the thing, the cherry on top of all of this, y'all, and this really shows the rot at the core of our country, is that these tariffs from day one, as I'm about to show you, they're illegal. like we're about to watch this video here. This is Legal Eagle, who has a great YouTube channel, by the way. I highly recommend you go subscribe to it. And he is going to explain in no uncertain terms, this is illegal. This is illegal in numerous ways. But the entire Republican Party is cucked to Trump, so they're not exercising their authority to override his tariffs, right? The court system moves incredibly slow, the judicial branch, and so they could slap it down, but when the fuck is it going to happen? All the damage is going to be done by the time they slap it down. And we sit here as the Mad King runs wild and ruins everything. Here, let's watch.
Trump issued a new executive order declaring a national emergency with respect to foreign, quote, trade practices that contribute to large and persistent annual United States goods trade deficits under the 1977 International Emergency Economic Powers Act, or IEPA. This act gives the president powers to regulate various financial transactions where there is, quote, any unusual and extraordinary threat which has its source in whole or in substantial part outside the United States to the national security, foreign policy, or economy of the United States if the president declares a national emergency with respect to such threat. Now, to take a step back for a moment, the U.S. president has no innate powers to set tariffs or regulate commerce. Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution expressly gives the authority to set tariffs and to, quote, regulate commerce with foreign nations solely to Congress. The president's purported power to impose tariffs must therefore arise from authority expressly delegated to them by Congress. Now, specifically, IEPA states, quote, any authority granted to the president by Section 1702 of this title may be exercised to deal with any unusual and extraordinary threat which has its source in whole or in substantial part outside the United States to the national security, foreign policy, or economy of the United States if the president declares a national emergency with respect to such threat. And now you might wonder what authority is granted under Section 1702. Well, that section states the president may investigate, block during the pendency of an investigation, regulate, direct and compel, nullify, void, prevent or prohibit any acquisition, holding, withholding, use, transfer, withdrawal, transportation, importation, or exportation of, or dealing in, or exercising any right, power, or privilege with respect to, or transactions involving, any property in which any foreign country or national thereof has any interest by any person or with respect to any property subject to the jurisdiction of the United States.
So what we're talking about here, just like with Trump, getting rid of due process, getting rid of habeas corpus, illegally sending people to a slave labor gulag, these are bogus attempts to declare a national emergency based on his whim to do whatever he wants, right? And the courts will have a say. Wait a second, is this actually a national emergency, right? A trade deficit is not at all a national emergency, but he's pretending like it is, and he's using that as a justification to destroy global trade, right? Again, the problem is how slow everything's moving. But the plain-faced reading of this is, just like we're not at war with the government of Venezuela, we're not at war with Tren de Aragua, he's saying we are and then using that to kidnap innocent people and send them to a slave labor camp, right? Totally illegitimate, totally illegal, totally unconstitutional. But we're letting the Mad King get away with it.
While IEEPA accords a number of powers to the president, such as allowing the president to investigate, block, or regulate, quote, any transactions with foreign exchange with respect to any property subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, it does not explicitly authorize tariffs, which is a significant omission according to legal scholars.
So again, if you're conservative, if you're an originalist or a textualist, only the direct words of the law and only the direct words of the Constitution matter, then this is blatantly illegal.
In fact, the words tariff, tax, and duty appear nowhere in the statute. So one argument here is that IEEPA simply doesn't authorize the president to exercise tariff powers. The argument goes that if Congress had intended to delegate its tariff power under IEEPA, it could have used tariff terms or set forth a tariff-related process to establish the factual predicate for and appropriate levels of such tariffs, as it's done with other trade statutes, but it didn't do so here.
So he goes on to explain other ways in which this is completely and utterly illegal, and he goes on to explain the judicial branch can get involved, likely slap it down, right? Also, as I pointed out, Congress has the power. If things get bad enough, Congress can step in and basically slap down these tariffs. And then even if Trump vetoes it, they could try to get the numbers to override it. It would be great if MAGA was in a complete and utter fascist death cult at this moment, right? But bottom line is, plain-faced reading of the law. We're all sitting back as the Mad King does wildly, wildly illegal things. Just like with Doge, as I told you guys. We know the way the system works. Congress has the power of the purse. They pass a law. The president signs it. The funds go to the Treasury. The Treasury disperses the funds, right? And that's it. You can't have some unelected bureaucrat robber baron step in and say, I don't like the CFPB. I'm just going to defund that. I don't like the Social Security Administration. I'm going to cut 50% of the offices. And that's what Elon did. So do we have rule of law or do we not? Do we have a democracy or do we not? Are we just going to sit back while these people destroy absolutely everything about this country and spark a fucking Great Depression and a global trade war, which could lead to an actual fucking war? All right, so go watch the rest of this video. Highly, highly recommend it. It's titled How to Stop the Tariffs. And then finally, I'll leave you with this. So Trump was at some event last night, the NRCC. And this is wild, bro. For him to say this out loud in this moment as the markets are absolutely falling off a cliff. This is dark. This is dark. Listen to this.
This is the largest transaction in the history of our country. And don't let some of these politicians go around saying, because I'm telling you, these countries are calling us up, kissing my ass. They are dying to make a deal. Please, sir, make a deal. I'll do anything. I'll do anything, sir.
The global stock market is imploding. People are about to start being laid off in massive, massive numbers. Prices are going to absolutely skyrocket. We're looking at a horrifying situation. This is all happening at the same time they're slashing the social safety net. So when people get fired, they got nowhere to go to get help, right? We're looking, forget Hoovervilles. We're going to have Trumpvilles. And here he is going, I'm really flexing my power. I'm really flexing my power. And now people are calling, begging to make a deal. It's really incredible. They're kissing my ass. And that is part of what this is about, right? I think ideologically, he does believe in tariffs. Ideologically, he is there. He's a true Kool-Aid drinker. But at the same time, he gets off on the power, and he wants people to come to him. He wants people to kiss his ass. And he wants to be able to say something like, look, I'll lower the tariff rate, but you got to give me a percentage, or you got to give me a flat fee, right? Deeply, deeply, deeply corrupt. As the market was tanking the other day, he went to a Saudi Arabia-funded live golf tournament in Florida, played in his own club championship, and then did $1 million per person fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. He did a massive crypto scam on his own supporters 2 days before his inauguration. We've never seen this level of corruption. We've never seen it. And here we are. And the results are absolutely, absolutely disastrous. So buckle up, because like I said, this could be the beginning of the end. It really could be. This could be the obliteration of the American economy, as I've pointed out to you previously. And everything is on track in that direction. If you think China's going to fold when they're in a better position than we are, right? They're ascendant. We're on the decline. I don't know what to tell you. And then the final point, as I point out in every one of these segments, if you believe, oh, Trump doing this is sincerely to bring back American manufacturing. Look, I'm in favor of bringing back American manufacturing. I talk about it all the time. What he's doing 100% will not bring that back. Why? Because he's slapping tariffs and then just saying, the free market will sort it all out and they'll just come here and build factories and it'll be great. No, that won't fucking happen. You need to do industrial policy if you want to bring back American manufacturing. You need to spend a tremendous amount of tax money to bolster the industries that you want to thrive here. You know who's doing that? Joe Biden. 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. The CHIPS Act. Trump froze all the funding. There was 115,000 jobs to make chips here in this country. He froze the funding and said, fuck those 115,000 jobs. In his first term, he lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs, again, as he pretended to be pro-manufacturing. The idea that the free market will sort this out, not even fucking close. You need a real industrial policy and real central planning to actually revitalize the American working class and bring back manufacturing. And he doesn't intend to do that at all. In fact, he's doing the opposite. He's doing complete austerity. And so the tariffs are just going to lead to a depression. It is that simple, y'all. And now you know. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.